Asanteni sana, but I don't want to give you an opportunity for your final comments. We start with you, Bwana Ikwa.
Well, I think from what we've heard from both the members of parliament who have spoken to us, one of the biggest mistakes we did or the parliament did to us Kenyans was to actually, the day we merged the minority and the majority, in that parliament, that parliament lost credibility at that particular moment in time. The voice of parliament was lost because they have to be managed from the executive side, which is unfortunate. The crafters of our constitution, the genius behind it, was to actually, craft our government into three arms, for reasons being the government need to check itself, to check each other. Judiciary need to ensure that they are checking what the executive is doing, and the judiciary is also relying on, parliament, or what I'll call legislature, in terms of, laws and things like that. So this idea of the current regime merging the entire three arms of government into one, with one command center, has actually did us a very big disservice. The member of parliament who have just spoken have told us that we are poor, but we are behaving like kings. It is so true, and we cannot be able to add anything into that, because this government expenditure is so bad, in terms of priorities, that it has gotten us into a situation where, in case we need to caution ourselves, we have nothing to caution ourselves with. I remember when this government took over, there was, of course, the wording of the behavior of the previous government, where, treasury was emptied, some parastatals that had money was ordered to transfer, some hasty, sale of government, of shares, government shares, people shares back to government, in the efforts to, get a lot of money on their side. Nevertheless, it's a bad behavior, bad leadership that has gotten us to where we are. Going forward, we need to call ourselves for a meeting individually and ask ourselves individual responsibilities as far as the, electing of the people who represent this country into such important positions like parliament. What I need to remind the member of parliament who have just spoken, Daktari, is that the parliament, through the committee, they have the powers to actually summon the minister. And once you summon the minister, you can actually force that minister within that particular to initiate what it is that you want to do in parliament. You can actually tell them to initiate, because it's true, the law has a way it has been arranged in terms of how some of these recommendations originate and how they actually end up in parliament for deliberations and approval thereof. But in case that we have a crisis means we are living in extraordinary times which call for extraordinary measures, including what we are calling out there, kujituma. So we are calling up the House for the first time, as much as they have not done that before, wajitume, so that they can try and find a solution. Not from recess, Bwana. You need to go back to that House and debate this like you've never done. I'm challenging them that if they have a solution somewhere, whether in the House or outside the House, and they have powers that they can be able to actually activate that particular solution, and these particular executive, members of who have been micromanaged and cannot do anything, help them, because they are employees of someone and they can be fired. But those guys in parliament cannot be fired by executive. I need to keep on reminding them that they can fire the executive, but they cannot be fired by executive. So what we call the power, the ultimate power, lies on them. They have a responsibility upon this country, and we are calling out on them to come and save this country by actually ensuring that this particular fuel reduces. And there's a saying that goes that if you do not believe that we are going to change this country, then that means that you are not one of those who are going to change this country. This country must be changed, must be changed. And individually, everybody, no matter what levels you hold in the society, whether you are, you are at the bottom where you are promised that you're going to be lifted up, or whether you're on the top, you have a renewed responsibility, not of enriching yourself, but making this country a better place for our children. Because nevertheless, we have nowhere else to live or live our generations. So we have a responsibility, and it starts with parliament.
Thank you so much. Wakili, you go next.
Yeah, Fred, as we finish, I'm reminded that, when Winston Churchill was, elected to be the Prime Minister of Britain, everybody expected him to tell them that Britain will stop on that day from having the effects of the Second World War, which was ongoing. But he told them that he has nothing to offer. He has nothing to offer but blood, toil, and sweat. and told them that if they do not confront, the beast that was Hitler, head on, then their neck could be wrung like chicken, but it's going to be another neck, another chicken. So I think I want to look Kenyans straight in the eye and tell Kenyans that we are in a crisis, and this crisis has no easy solution, and that the pain is there and the pain will continue for a while. But even as I do that, I call on our institution. And when I talk about our institution, I'm talking about EPRA, I'm talking about Cabinet, I'm talking about Parliament, but I'm also talking about Matatu Association and other groups that we have to pull together at this time. And as we pull together, let's find out within the allowable fiscal space, what else can we do to deliver targeted relief to the poor? But even as we do that, we ensure that relief does not extend to the privilege. I am a bit worried, for instance, when Matatu Owners Association mentioned that at least they had an agreement on something, and then the Tourism Association says that there is no agreement. And I realize that tourism majorly are riding on big big vehicles and so on and so forth, which might not be the immediate relief we need for the common man that is going to work and so on. I'm not diminishing their role. My point is that let's pull together. This is not the time to pull apart. This is not the time to play partisan politics, but this is also not the time to allow criminality. But at the same time, it is also important that even the associations, although they are stakeholders, they should know that when the government gives relief, these reliefs are meant for the common man. And that when before the common man goes on strike, before the common man refuses to go to work, it is not proper for the people controlling the matatu to gang up and deny the common man a chance to go to work. It is important that we get into engagement, and as we do this, we also ensure that there is sunset clause for every relief that we are giving, so as to ensure that we do not give people a rosy picture of a relief, but in essence pile debts and arrears that end up leading to stockout, as was done by the reckless decisions of the previous government. But as I end, I call on the Inspector General of Police and the other security agencies to move with speed to crack down on criminals on our roads, to ensure that our roads are free, our roads are safe, our roads can be used by those who want to use it.
All right. Thank you so much, Wakili. Professor, you wrap it up for us.
Mine is to start by saying that, Fred, the Kenyan problem is known. The solutions are known. What we're waiting is for leadership, and that's what is lacking. Mm-hmm. Leadership emerges during a crisis. You are not a good husband because things are working. You are not a good wife because your husband is good. You are not a good child because your parents are great. I'm a child I grew up in Kibra. I don't have to belabor that. But what makes me a leader is knowing how to move from Kibra to where I am, which I don't want to say. Leadership is about where you find. I've heard this government spending time talking about, before you had even him mentioning things which were in the previous government. Uhuru left office a long time ago. I think he has even forgotten how State House looks like.
It's new, it's right now,
yeah.
It's totally new.
Yes, it is the man in the ring who produces the results. It is the team playing. You're an Arsenal fan. I slept so well last night after Arsenal won. But it is the players who are there battling for the 90 minutes that was there. We were the 90 minutes. So it is about that person in the ring. Stop talking about your coach. When you're put in the ring, fight for your country. That's where leadership comes in. And I want to state that we don't lack leaders in Kenya. Our eyes as people are looking in the wrong direction. There's Psalm 121 that says, where comes from my help? My help comes in the name of the Lord who created heaven and earth. But you continue looking at State House, you continue looking at these politicians, they cannot offer this solution because Einstein says you can't solve a problem using the tools which are created. Which are the tools? Those political tools we have. You've had a member of parliament stating in broad television that parliament has been captured. And I told you before that we have a state capture. They have not just captured parliament. They even capture up to your village. Like you see, that's why they're actually harassing people from everywhere. This state has to know that the center is the citizen. And I said, Fred, if you look at Pope Leo the 13th, he wrote a book called Nova Rerum. Nova Rerum means we want new things. The new thing was whereby the citizen should be at the center of the universe, not the state. So that the state serves it. You heard John saying, who is the boss? Is the citizen. God created us. God gave us our sovereignty. Our sovereignty begets the Constitution. The Constitution begets the state offices. So who is more powerful? God, then us, the citizen, with our sovereign power. How can the people we have appointed now make decision how somebody's shop can be banned? How someone should be arrested? Which is using the very right they've been given. So according to me, what I'm trying to say here is that Kenya must evolve to the golden age, to prosperity. That evolution needs leadership.
All right.
Because Fred, can you imagine people are hungry in Siaya? You come from Kisumu, isn't it? Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori have things that other places don't have. Imagine the water is killing people, isn't it? Water is a source, is a factor of production, isn't it? Land is amazing. Go to Kisumu, land which is lying fallow. If you land in Kisumu with an aeroplane, you see fallow land forever, isn't it? Then you have youth who are unemployed, sitting in Manyata there, sitting in Kenyatta ground saying, Atuna kazi, sivyo. We need a leader who can add water, land to labor and produce for people to get a job. It's not about here shouting somebody's names. And Fred, allow me to allow and educate my fellow politicians that let us approach 2027 as a strategic moment to make decisions. Don't go to name calling. Don't shout at people. How boundaries? The president is four heads. One, he's a head of government. As a head of government, criticize him on government decisions. Head of state, no. Because if you appoint ambassador, that's not our business. Head of state, no. Head of household, his family, don't talk about it. Head of political party, you could question UDA. What is UDA's policy? What's their manifesto? Right. What are they supposed to do? Don't go and go personal. Kenya cannot be successful if we exclude anyone.
All right.
The Kenyan problem will be solved by Kenyans using Kenyan resources, working for Kenyans all the time. And that should exclude where people want to say we are the ones. Let us not even do tribalism. Even I told my brother here from Kisumu, don't show us that Kisumu was peaceful. Kisumu is suffering. The city sleeps too early and wakes up too late. Any town that sleeps too early means there's no security. And any town that wakes up too early means there's nothing to take you to the street. We want a 24-hour economy in the Kisumu Lake region and all parts of Kenya. Let us focus on Project Kenya and ignore any other project that is personal.
Asante sana. Professor Fred Ogola, economics and governance expert.